The defense ministers of South Korea and the U.S. have discussed the future of their joint military drills after the U.S. president said they would be ending. Donald Trump made the surprise announcement following his summit with North Korean leader Kim Jong-un. The U.S. has insisted its alliance with Seoul, which has always said the drills are essential, is ironclad. Separately, South and North Korea have said they will completely restore their military communication lines. What are the U.S.-South Korea war games? What were the results of the Trump-Kim summit? The North Korea crisis in 300 words. There are about 29,000 U.S. soldiers based in South Korea, and each year the two countries regularly conduct large-scale military drills, often called war games. The next exercises were scheduled for autumn. But following his talks with Kim Jong-un in Singapore, Mr. Trump described the drills as very provocative, contradicting previous U.S. administration's insistence that the drills are purely defensive, and said he was ending them. South Korean Defense Minister Song Young-moo on Thursday held talks with his U.S. counterpart James Mattis to discuss the exercises. The two agreed to continuously strengthen efforts to provide defense support, based on the solid South Korea-U.S. alliance, the South Korean Defense Ministry said. Mr. Song said the two allies should be flexible about how much military pressure they put on the North, the ministry said, adding that the U.S. and South Korea would hold further discussions soon. Imagine life for a North Korean family missed chance to discuss human rights, says defector. North Korea has long condemned the drills as an unacceptable act of aggression and provocation. Mr. Trump's nominee as next ambassador to South Korea, Harry Harris, previously a supporter of the drills, has said that major exercises should be paused to allow time to test Pyongyang's commitment about dialogue. The decision to end the military exercises has been widely criticized as a major concession to North Korea, while the joint declaration Mr. Trump and Mr. Kim signed at the end of the Singapore summit has been criticized as lacking in detail. North Korea agreed to complete denuclearization of the Korean peninsula only in very general terms, without a timeline or a commitment to allow international verification. Responding to the criticism, U.S. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo said sanctions on North Korea would remain in place until the country completes its denuclearization. Mr. Pompeo was speaking in China, as he visits U.S. allies post-summit to discuss both the Korean situation and trade issues. China is seen as the main economic ally of the isolated North Korean regime. Washington has repeatedly said that it hopes for Beijing's support in convincing Pyongyang to give up its nuclear weapons. The U.S. and China are also at odds over an intensifying dispute over trade barriers Mr. Trump has threatened. Did the summit rhetoric match reality? Kim is a funny guy, analyzing Trump's quotes. The summit's oddest moments. North and South continue rapprochement. Seoul and Pyongyang, meanwhile, have continued the new dialogue which followed the inter-Korean summit in April. That summit, where South Korean President Moon Jae-in met Kim Jong-un at the border, ended in the Panmunjom Declaration, calling for joint efforts to ease military tensions on the peninsula. On Thursday, at the first high-level military talks in more than a decade, the two Koreas agreed to restore their military communication lines, seen as an important confidence-building gesture. The two sides are also discussing resuming economic cooperation and arranging reunions for families separated by the Korean War.